Hi, welcome to Intro to Philosophy. I'm Jon Marc Asper. I am the instructor. And for the first day, I actually just wanted to demonstrate what philosophy looks like, what it looks like to make a philosophical discovery. So we're going to use this case, a pandemic. How should we care about meaning in the midst of a pandemic? So let's get an example going. Worst case scenario, right? So the plague killed 25 million people. The flu pandemic of 1918 killed 50 million people, actually even more. But let's say this is even worse. COVID-19 mutates, kills off almost everybody. Only the most isolated people survive. And then let's think 1,000 years later, most buildings are in ruins, most human knowledge is lost, so on and so forth. And from that perspective, you can start to wonder still, surprisingly, does it matter? So I'm going to try to convince you that this is not obvious that it matters. So we're going to go two routes. The first route is thinking way out in the future, end of the universe, did it really matter? And the other route is thinking about the past. The way we think about the past, does it really matter? So let's do the first one. First one is known as cosmic futility. It's been explained kind of like a sinking ship. The universe is a sinking ship. So in the way distant future, billions of years from now, it will all be cold and dark and lifeless. That's what scientists tell us. The universe is expanding, entropy is taking it over. And so from that perspective, you can really start to wonder why anything now matters. So suppose on the sinking ship that you find out the boiler's about to blow up. That's bad news, right? But I mean, the ship was sinking anyway, right? So does it really, how much should I care that the boiler's about to blow up? I mean, the ship wasn't going to arrive anywhere anyway. All right, so first thing I want to do is find 2 or 3 people next to you and let's discuss this. In general, we're going to discuss, is this story analogous to the universe? So is the universe like a sinking ship? Is a worst case scenario pandemic like the boiler blowing up? And where was this ship supposed to be arriving anyway? So find some people next to you and do that for about 5 minutes. Okay, I think we're ready. So is the universe like a sinking ship? What do you think? Yeah. Okay, yeah, good. So one difference is this ship is going to sink with me on it, right? The universe, when it ends way out there, I'm not going to be on it. Actually, it's not really even obvious who that affects because, I mean, who's there to see it, right? So that's a difference. What about the second one? Is the pandemic like the boiler blowing up? Any thoughts? I guess it kind of depends on this first one, right? If the first one's similar, then the second one's similar. Otherwise, no. Those, I think, are going to go together. And where was the ship supposed to be arriving? Yeah? Yeah, actually, that's what I think, too. The universe, right? The universe. Where was the universe supposed to be arriving? I guess kind of nowhere. I mean, especially true if the universe is infinite, it's going to be around forever, then clearly it's not arriving anyway, right? So, but there's still this perspective, like billions of years from now, did it really matter? There's something about it still demotivating. What is going on there? I think actually that has more to do with the second argument. So let's do the second argument. This comes from Arthur Schopenhauer. Let me just read it. So that which has been no longer is. It as little exists as does that which has never been. But everything that is in the next moment has been. Thus, the most insignificant present has over the most significant past the advantage of actuality, which means that the former bears the latter the relation of something to nothing. I think that's the key word. So, something and nothing. The present right now is something. The past is nothing. I mean, yeah, the pandemic 1,000 years from now, it was a big nothing. But, well, it was big and now it's nothing, right? A pinprick now is matters more. It exists, right? Do you think Schopenhauer's right? Where might he be thinking wrongly in this? Yeah. Okay, so compare it to a trip to Disneyland, right? We have a good time. Our family gets closer together, and we have good memories now. So there are ways that it affects things still. The past does. The pandemic, likewise, keeps on affecting things. I mean, it destroyed human civilization, so it has a huge effect. So it's not nothing in that sense. Anything else? Yeah. Yeah, good point. Yeah, so on the other hand, well, here, let me compare it to this. Okay. Coffee. That tastes good. Okay, now the taste is gone. Does it matter anymore? With that example, actually, I think it's a lot less clear that it matters. I don't know, the taste is gone, right? Does the memory of the taste really even matter? I don't know. I kind of doubt it. So, I don't know. So there's both sides there. Let's go ahead and use the main tool of philosophers to try to figure out a little more about this. So it's known as deductive argument. Let's put this into a deductive argument. This is a valid deductive argument. What does that mean? Well, premise, conclusion. If it's a valid deductive argument, then if the premises are both true, the conclusion has to be true. That's what it means for it to be valid. So that tells us what we need to do. If we want to deny that the pandemic that destroyed human civilization does not matter, we got two options. We got to deny that the pandemic that destroyed human civilization does not exist. We got to say that it exists still. Or we got to say that if something does not exist, then it does not matter is false. So things can matter that don't exist. Those both look a little crazy, but I mean, unless we're just going to go ahead and accept this, right? That's one option because we're so convinced by 1 and 2. But we got to deny one of these. So which one could we deny? What do you think? Let's start with 1. What would it look like to deny 1? Yeah. Okay, so we'll just say the past, and you wouldn't have to be, and the future, they exist. This is actually maybe implied by some theories of physics. Space-time is this thing, right? It exists. The past, like in some sense, it can't really do this, but it's over there, and the future is over there, and it all exists, right? That's not the common sense view. I mean, because it makes more sense, you'd think, to say that that people who are dead don't exist anymore, right? Things like that. Things in the past don't exist. But you could try to deny that. What would it look like to deny 2? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So philosophers call that instrumental value. So the pandemic has great instrumental, it'd actually be disvalue, right? It's bad. Instrumental value, it would be contrasted with final or intrinsic value. So final intrinsic value matters in itself. Instrumental value that's what things have when they have certain effects on things that eventually matter, right? So maybe studying doesn't matter in itself, but it's useful. It has instrumental value, that kind of thing. What else? What other ways could we deny 2? Yeah. Okay, I'll put it this way. We care. We care that the pandemic happened. We care that we went on the Disneyland vacation, right? And so that might be enough to make something matter. I mean, you wouldn't have to say this is the only way that things matter, but maybe just the fact that you care about something makes it matter. So those are both options. Those are actually, neither of those are the way that I wanted to take this argument, though. So let me change the argument itself. I'm going to add one word right here. The word is intrinsically. I'm going to put it down here in the bottom too, so that's still a valid argument, intrinsically. Okay, so what did that do to the argument? Well, neither of these will be objections anymore, because if something does not exist, then it doesn't matter intrinsically is going to rule out these instrumental explanations. It's going to rule out just because we care. Because something matters intrinsically, it matters just because. The hermit who was killed by the pandemic that no one knows about, his death still matters, right? Even though it didn't affect anything else and no one knew. All right, so how else could we deny 2? What would it look like? How about this? Let's just straightforwardly deny 2. Let's just say 2 is false, right? Things that don't exist can matter. That's pretty surprising too, but it's not crazy. And I think what I've just shown you is what it looks like to make a philosophical discovery, right? So what we discovered is that one of these two things must be true unless we're going to grant this, right? So either the past and the future exist. Or, I mean, I'm more tempted by this one actually, that 2 is false, that some things that don't exist, namely things in the past, matter. And that's surprising, but we made a discovery using our philosophical tools. All right, that's it for class today. I look forward to the semester, and I'll see you on Wednesday.